Hello, and welcome. The British Monarchy, with its thousand-year history, is filled with pageantry, power, and plenty of drama. Today, we're re-pulling back the velvet curtain to explore some of the most dramatic events that have shaped this iconic institution. These aren't just moments from history books. They're tales of ambition, betrayal, love, and loss that are more gripping than any work of fiction. Let's begin in 1066, the year of three kings and one monumental battle. King Edward, the Confessor, dies without a clear heir, sparking a fierce power struggle. Harold Godwinson, a powerful English earl, is crowned, but his reign is immediately challenged. From the north, Harald Hardrada of Norway invades, and from the south, William, Duke of Normandy, claims the throne was promised to him. Harold masterfully marches his army north, defeating the Vikings at Stamford Bridge. But just days later, exhausted and depleted, he has to force march his troops south to face William at the Battle of Hastings. It's here that an arrow, famously said to have struck Harold in the eye, changes the course of English history forever. William the Conqueror's victory wasn't just a military one. It was a cultural and political revolution that reshaped England from the ground up. Fast forward 5 centuries to the Tudor court, a hotbed of intrigue dominated by the larger-than-life King Henry VIII. His desperate quest for a male heir led him to break with the Roman Catholic Church, a move with seismic consequences that still reverberate today. Why? Because the Pope wouldn't grant him an annulment from his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. So, Henry simply created his own church, the Church of England, with himself at the head. This allowed him to marry Anne Boleyn, a woman whose intelligence and ambition captivated the king. But when Anne also failed to produce a son, providing only a daughter, the future Queen Elizabeth I, Henry's affection turned to suspicion. Accused of treason on trumped-up charges, Anne was executed at the Tower of London. Her tragic fall from queen to condemned prisoner in just 1,000 days is a chilling reminder of the brutal realities of Tudor power politics. Now, let's jump to the 17th century, and the only time England has been a republic. The clash between King Charles I and Parliament ignited a brutal civil war. Charles believed in the divine right of kings, that his authority came directly from God and was not to be questioned. Parliament, however, demanded more power and a say in how the country was run. The conflict tore the nation apart, pitting neighbor against neighbor. After years of bloody fighting, the parliamentarian forces, led by Oliver Cromwell, were victorious. In an unprecedented and shocking move, Charles I was put on trial for treason. In January 1649, he was found guilty and publicly executed. The sight of a reigning monarch being beheaded by his own people sent shockwaves across Europe and marked a dramatic, albeit temporary, end to the monarchy in England. After the somber interregnum period under Cromwell, the monarchy was restored, but the drama was far from over. In 1688, we have the Glorious Revolution. King James II, a Catholic, was deeply unpopular in a predominantly Protestant country. His attempts to promote Catholicism in government and the birth of his son, which meant a Catholic dynasty was now likely, were the final straws. A group of influential nobles invited William of Orange, a Dutch prince married to James's Protestant daughter Mary, to invade and take the throne. William landed with his army, and James II, seeing his support crumble, fled to France. This relatively bloodless coup was significant because it established the principle of parliamentary sovereignty once and for all. From now on, the monarch would rule not by divine right alone, but with the consent of Parliament, laying the foundation for the constitutional monarchy we see today. Our next stop is the early 20th century, and an event that shook the monarchy to its core: the abdication crisis of 1936. King Edward VIII had fallen in love with Wallis Simpson, an American socialite who was twice divorced. In the 1930s, the idea of the king, as head of the Church of England, marrying a divorcee was simply unthinkable for the government and the establishment. The crisis forced Edward to choose between the crown and the woman he loved. In a heartfelt radio address that captivated the world, he announced his decision to abdicate, saying, "I have found it impossible to carry the heavy burden of responsibility and to discharge my duties as king as I would wish to do without the help and support of the woman I love." His younger brother, the reluctant George VI, father of Queen Elizabeth II, was thrust onto the throne, a moment dramatized beautifully in the film The King's Speech. Finally, we arrive in the modern era, with a story that many of you will remember well: the life and tragic death of Diana, Princess of Wales. When Lady Diana Spencer married Prince Charles in 1981, it felt like a fairy tale. But behind the scenes, the marriage was crumbling under the pressure of public duty and personal incompatibility. Their separation and subsequent divorce in the 1990s was played out under the relentless glare of the global media. Diana, the people's princess, used her platform to champion humanitarian causes. But she also struggled with the intense scrutiny. Her sudden and tragic death in a car crash in Paris in 1997 unleashed an unprecedented public outpouring of grief. The royal family's initial, more reserved response was met with public criticism, forcing the monarchy to adapt and show a more human, relatable side in the face of a national tragedy. From battlefield betrayals to constitutional crises, and from scandalous love affairs to profound personal tragedies, the history of the British monarchy is a sprawling epic drama. These events didn't just affect the individuals involved. They fundamentally shaped the nation and the institution itself, forcing it to evolve, adapt, and survive into the 21st century. What do you think is the most dramatic moment in royal history? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more historical deep dives. See you in the next video.